Welcome, one and all, to Creating Canon with your hosts, AJ Hamilton and Nick Pappas.
That's Nicholas C. Pappas.
I'm so sorry. Nicholas C. Pappas the third.
You know what was weird is I knew you were going to say the third.
How did you know that?
I have no clue. It does not make any sense whatsoever.
I think we've been spending too much time together.
I think so.
Yeah, it must be.
So. I'm very excited to be here today to talk about a movie that, when its star Richard Chamberlain was told cost $5 million to make, his response was more like $2.50.
Oh!
Burn!
That is a deep burn, a money burn.
This is King Solomon's Mine.
Oh.
Which was rough.
It was... This was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah,
for me.
I mean, we're 4 episodes in, and I'm almost ready to abandon this whole idea of this project.
I'm enjoying hanging out with you.
Yeah,
but I am resentful of you for making me watch these movies.
No, I want to be really clear that the first movies that we've seen, especially 10 to Midnight, are brilliant.
Okay.
This movie was just... I mean, I don't know how to say this any other way, but I feel like I was party to a hate crime just by watching it.
Yeah, I think the first question we have to ask in this this episode is this movie racist?
That's like saying, is the sky blue? Mostly,
it is.
Mostly the sky is blue. Every once in a while, it's not.
Yep.
So maybe we should take a step back and talk about what the movie's actually about.
Okay, please tell me.
So King Solomon's Mine.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, let me do movie man voice.
In a world.
Famous explorer Alan Quatermain is hired by student archaeologist Jessie Hutton to find her father in the deepest, darkest African jungle. He has been captured by a German World War I soldier and a Turkish slave trader looking for his treasure map. The race is on to capture the treasure hidden within King Solomon's Mines.
I love that.
Thanks.
You should write trailers for movies.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I'd like to do with my living. Just watch.
Okay, shooting for
just make trailers.
Shooting for the stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would like to
with your literary degree.
Capture in. Oh boy. Oh boy, this movie has done it to me.
Did we not pump you full of enough caffeine?
I do not think so. I mean, look, I got to be honest. Like,
okay.
I feel like we're already shitting on this movie right away.
Yeah, and it should be.
And it should be.
Yes.
But there are some really cool moments within this
Oh,
movie.
I agree. And do you suggest that we talk about what's cool at the beginning? So as to just go downhill from there?
No, I mean, I don't even know. Well, let's go back to this, like, racism thing, right?
Yes.
Of, like, we ask if this movie is racist.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's interesting, too, because Black Panther has recently come out in theaters.
Again, because of its Oscar nomination, right?
Right. And it's fascinating to take a movie from 1985.
Yes.
And put it back to back in some ways against a modern film where the portrayal of just the African tribes.
Sure. Yeah.
In this movie, we ranged everything from, and I'm saying this with like half a laugh because, and it's not because I find it funny. It's like I am shocked that it existed in some ways. Of African cannibals putting people in a gigantic pot.
This was, I mean, to say that this was cartoonish. Is an understatement.
I mean, it was a live-action cartoon.
It was a live-action cartoon. It was absolutely a Three Stooges sort of Marx Brothers. No, not Marx Brothers. Was way too highbrow. Yes. Highbrow. But yeah, I mean, when the guy brought out the mallet, I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Where's the anvil? You know,
right? Exactly. I mean, he brought out. So there was a point in the movie where Alan Quatermain is walking on the top of this train, and and this German guy gets out on top of the train with him.
Yeah.
And he brings a fucking sledgehammer
to
fight.
To climb up on top of a
moving train.
Moving train, right, yeah.
I mean, okay, so on some ways, like, I even want to step back further.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, too, some derogatory things towards...
Moroccans?
No,
not Moroccans. Turkish folk, yes.
And pretty much any Arab. Any Arab. It's
yeah, both of our leads drop a couple of racist terms. Now, it's definitely a product of the times.
Definitely.
But also, I was reading something by, maybe it was Golan or Globus, but they were saying that it was supposed to be commenting on the 19 teens, during the World War I time. But I don't think that all of it can be excused. I think it's also 1985 racism.
Well, I think that's the really hard part, is in some ways the tribes and the way the tribes look and like the ridiculousness of putting two human beings in a pot so big that they can swim down. It takes them like 12 seconds to swim down to the bottom of the pot.
Well, and also they're joined by plastic fruits and vegetables.
That's true. Absolutely.
Thrown on in.
I mean, I remember
the flavor.
For the flavor, of course. And apparently these two people are supposed to feed, what was it, like 5,000?
Well, he says, you take the 1,000 on the left, I'll take the 1,000 on the right. You know, visually it did look like about 2,000 people.
Actually, they did not waste money I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Mm-hmm. They did not skimp on extras.
Oh, no.
Although, it's filmed in Zimbabwe, which I'm sure...
They got some locals.
Locals.
And I think these Native Africans were definitely treated as if they were Native Americans in a Western.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like they were humanized about that much.
Yeah.
You know, there was Tonto.
Right.
Who was Umbopo?
Umbopo is the version of Tonto.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting that you say the thing about commenting on the movies of the past, because that's exactly the same thing Indiana Jones was doing. He was riffing on the 1920s serialized movies, but in some ways updating it to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. And then this feels like it's still riffing on those like 1920s movies,
right?
But not updating
the sensibilities.
The sensibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
I bring up Indiana Jones. It should be noted that this movie is a blatant ripoff,
obviously,
of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom.
Exactly. Yeah, they came out respectively 81 and 84, and this came out 85. Now I will point out,
and this has a sequel that also came out in 86 too.
Okay, so
sorry, yeah,
no, yeah, but I will say that it is based on a book that is 100 years older than it.
Well,
so technically, and Indiana Jones isn't from a book or a novel or anything like that, so technically maybe Indiana Jones got its inspiration from the book, but they didn't say it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, and also, too, there's a 1955 movie based on the same book, King Solomon's Mines.
Oh, that's right.
That I'm curious if this movie...
Bit off of.
I haven't seen the 55 film.
I saw something saying that it was better.
Oh.
And I believe it.
I'm sure.
Because I'm sure that they didn't try to do any green screen-esque type of...
Well, it's not even green screen. It's that...
No, it's not.
What is it? Is it rotoscoping? Is that what it's called when they... film when they project an image on like a back wall that they've already filmed, and then they have the actors in front of it?
It must be, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Rotoscoping is the animation.
Oh, that's animation
over visual things.
Right.
I don't know what that technique is called, but I'm glad that it's dead.
I'm glad that it's gone completely. Although it's
not
weird
trying
because
it anymore.
You find that in like the opening of Psycho when Marion Crane's driving around. That's all done with that same technique, but it doesn't feel.
But it wasn't done
corny.
for $2.50.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm
true.
sure there are techniques to make it look better.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Yes. I'm sure in black and white too, it probably plays a little bit better than color.
That's very true.
That might be part of it. Mm-hmm. But to get back to this, I mean, it's just writing that plot thing was really difficult in some ways because I have no clue what was happening and when.
No, you said it, and like we mentioned in 10 to Midnight, it felt like there was a reel missing. It felt like we just got through. Now, adventure-wise, pacing-wise, I get it. Throw your audience in to an exciting thing, but give them a little exposition, and you can do exposition while there is action going on.
Absolutely.
She could have been hunting for him. Well, that's even jumping forward, because we jump in on the kidnapping of her father.
Yeah.
We have not been introduced really to him or anybody else. We just know that he's searching for something that is in a map.
Well,
quote unquote map.
It's the map is amazing, is in that, like, it's the statue of, and I couldn't understand if they kept saying Sheba or Shiva.
I thought it was Shiva, but I don't know.
That wouldn't make sense, though.
No, that's in a different culture.
That's Indian, right?
Sheba, possibly. Yeah,
Sheba. It's a statue of Sheba, and the guy looking at it at the beginning is like, "Oh, it's a map, and you'll find King Solomon's mines in 2 mountains that look like the breasts of Sheba," and then it shows a close up of like this
a microscope or a
magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass. Thank you.
It's like showing
it
weird
breasts. Pauses on the breasts.
On a stone statue with carved nipples.
Innies, by the way.
Innies, they were innies.
Yeah.
And immediately I'm like, yes. No, immediately I'm like, what is happening here?
No explanation whatsoever.
No explanation. And then it just cuts to a guy walks in, a guy.
John Rhys Davies.
Who played Salah in Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
The first Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade.
And Gimli.
And he was Gimli.
I know. And he was in Sliders. Do you remember Sliders? The TV show about jumping from dimension to dimension?
I remember Sliders. I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah. He was the doctor.
What?
He was the professor. Yeah.
I love him.
Me too.
And he was great in this.
He was the only one taking this goddamn thing seriously.
Yeah.
I think.
He was in it to win it, and they also did some interesting things with this character, and I think we'll get there in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he just comes in and he kills some guy, and he's like, "Oh, now you're coming with me." And
and he also activates some sort of
booby trap
within their own. I don't know where they were.
Yeah.
Were they in the back room of that dude's?
I think so.
Office,
the trader's office.
Yeah, but he knew about the booby trap to kill.
An assistant?
Assistant, yeah. Well, that was how they got Sharon Stone to understand. Yeah, Sharon Stone's in this.
Oh, yes. Great story about how Sharon Stone got in this movie.
Oh, God.
Menachem Golan, when they were getting ready to do this movie, he kept saying, "Give me that stone woman. I want that stone woman in this movie."
Stone woman.
So they cast
and she was
Sharon
up and
Stone.
coming.
She was up and coming at this time, so they cast Sharon Stone. Well, it turns out what he meant was he wanted Kathleen Turner
from Romancing the Stone.
Yep.
Oh.
Apparently he was not happy that he did not get Kathleen Turner.
I will say, my father showed me Romancing the Stone.
It's a great movie.
At an early age. Not at an early age, but when I was old enough. And I loved that movie.
It's a great movie.
So
good.
Danny DeVito?
Funny.
Come on.
Funny. Michael
Douglas is great. And Kathleen Turner is solid.
Jewel of the Nile, not so great.
No.
Not so great, but...
I was disappointed by that.
Yeah, but... Romancing the Stone is a very solid flick.
Absolutely. Well, and everybody meets, and it makes sense why everybody... They're literally just riding along together. Sharon Stone, the Quartermain, and...
Mbopo, that's right.
And we're like, oh, they're searching for something, probably.
We have no clue.
Why do they know each other? They seem at odds, so why?
Oh, first of all, Richard Chamberlain plays...
Alan Quartermain.
Yes. Well, they're just walking in the forest...
Yeah.
And Sharon Stone, I mean, it's ridiculous. God. Her character was dumb. And not like she was a dumb character.
Yeah.
Like, she was written as dumb. Like, there was a moment where
not cultured whatsoever or studied any words.
Well, there was that amazing moment where Quartermain was like,
we've got a tail or something like that.
Or we got a tracker.
Or a shadow.
We got a shadow. That's
it. A shadow.
She's like, what's a shadow? And he's like, it's somebody who's following us.
What's following?
Like, why is he following us?
And she was confused for being she is a student, right?
She was an archaeologist.
She's an archaeologist.
She is finishing her archaeology degree.
She also is very confused as to what slavery is.
Yes.
She's like, what are those people doing in chains
in bondage
up there? And he's like,
she was flummoxed by it.
Slaves. And she was like, what? For $100? That's horrible.
And of course,
and then, oh my
God.
He
makes a quip about,
well, you can always haggle.
You can always bargain them down, or whatever it is.
Christ. I mean,
yeah, it was...
Again, it's so hard to tell whether these were meant to comment on the times, but it's not really like shaming the times. It's not saying, this was bad. it's being flippant about it. So I don't know if they're just making fun of it. I think they're trying to do a little bit of Mel Brooks Blazing Saddle-esque type humor,
but
it's not landing. It's so much more elementary than that.
Well, it's interesting because this movie it's an action movie, definitely, but it's also a comedy. But I think what you're hitting at is some of these moments felt like, Richard Chamberlain or Sharon Stone coming to J. Lee Thompson. J. Lee Thompson, by the way, director and writer of this movie.
Right.
J. Lee Thompson he didn't write this movie, he just directed it.
Right.
J. Lee Thompson directed 10 to Midnight.
10 to Midnight, that's right.
But I have a feeling
wasn't there somebody else that was going to direct this?
Oh, Tobe Hooper. Tobe Hooper was...
Yeah.
We got to do a Tobe Hooper movie.
I cannot wait. I'm very excited.
I cannot wait for Tobe Hooper. I kind of love Tobe Hooper, but that's all the story. Mm-hmm. Also loathe him. It's a weird love-hate thing. But I have a feeling this is definitely like Chamberlain coming to the set being like, Jay Lee, I've got some jokes for you today. I want to just some stuff. Let me riff. And like, I mean, look, I'm not saying I know anything about Richard Chamberlain or the writing of this film, but I feel like they went out and found, like, the most, like, subtly racist people they could find.
Yep.
Cast them, and then they were like, tell all the jokes you want.
These are going to be great.
This
is gold.
This is going to be... Trump loves this movie.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. He falls asleep to this every night.
I don't know if
imagining
that's true, but I have a feeling that it's...
Chamberlain. Or no.
True.
He's the German.
Yes,
oh
yeah.
My God.
Oh, my God.
I didn't really... Colonel Bachner was his name?
Yeah. That's Herbert Lom.
Okay.
And Pink. He was known for the Pink Panther movies.
Yes.
Pink Panther Strikes Again. He was Inspector not Clouseau.
No, of course
not. Drake, is that right? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember
either. Jonathan Rhys-Davies was like, I can't believe he decided to be in this movie.
He was amazed.
He was
reportedly
like shocked. He was like, I can't believe. Although
listen, I needed the money.
Yeah.
Apparently, you did too.
Yeah.
We're stealing the diamonds off the set.
They were really, I mean, again, like, just as much as Rhys-Davies killed it, I thought Herbert Lom killed it as well.
For his role.
He brought it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But, like, it's one of those things where, I don't know, if it's responsible to make the slave trader and the murderous German your, like, comic relief. Like, they're a comic relief duo constantly. And even jokes where, like, Herbert Lom is like, something happens where they have all these slaves who start running away. And he's like, get back here. And they all come running back. And he's like, that's German superiority. You tell them what to do, and I've trained them, and now they do as I say.
And it's not the words, it's the
authority that I bring to it.
Yes.
And then all the slaves, like, run past him. And he's like, and now they're running away. You'll never see a German run away. We're soldiers.
And then apparently
elephants are chasing them. For who fucking knows?
It's not even clear. You just see a cutaway.
Who knows what the fuck?
Okay, one of my biggest complaints about this movie, just structurally, just from a visual and storytelling standpoint, is they have no clue of space. Like of literally like there's times when they will show the outside of something. This was especially evident when they're rolling down the hill in the pot that they were going to be boiled in. It's rolling down, and then they're clearly in a cement truck, just being turned around and around.
Which was actually a great shot. Like, I thought that was an awesome shot.
It was great, but it was also like nobody thought about the logistics of what it looks outside and what it looks like inside
to be rolled in a
to be rolled. And also then they land, and this happens constantly where the reverse shot doesn't make any sense to the initial shot. They are in the pot sideways, and there's a bunch of lions. There is a pride from the outside.
From the outside.
But then from the inside, from their perspective, they see one single lion, and he's sort of just sitting there.
Well, it gets even worse in some ways because the outside shot of the lions on the pot, it's all female lions, and there's like 4 of them directly sitting in front of the pot. On the inside shot looking out, it's a singular male lion.
Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. That's like a subtle...
He's like, Hey, are you guys just lying there? Because I'm lying out here. Exit stage left.
I think there were so many times where, like when they were, I mean, obviously him hanging from the ropes down into the alligator pit, or crocodile. I'm not gonna assume
it's crocodile.
Okay, good.
It's crocodile. It's definitely crocodile.
But then, like, he would be 10 feet above a crocodile, but then he would be 5 inches from a crocodile
in a different shot
constantly. The train was also horrible. I mean, there was a lot of inconsistencies there.
Also, except for that badass fight underneath the train that was like close combat.
Yes.
That was cool.
I really enjoyed that one. There's not a lot underneath a train anymore that you can do because there's not foxholes built on a train anymore.
Right.
That
you can shoot from.
Trench.
That you can basically shoot from.
I mean, I get it. It actually makes sense to have those things there.
I mean, it's set during World War I.
Yeah. And his plan is actually interesting. His plan makes sense to go underneath. Her plan is just to be like, hey, I'm a random girl who can speak German.
Yeah.
I'm going to go across here.
It was amazing when she walked across that, like, everyone was like, oh, what? Oh, hello. Hi, beautiful lady. And then they, like...
I'm surprised their faces didn't turn into howling wolves.
Seriously.
Like, again,
my exact note here is this is a live-action cartoon that's racist.
Yes.
That's my exact note.
So anything before the 60s.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
70s.
Yeah. I mean, we were 40 minutes in. And, look, I feel like we are all over the map.
We are.
Trying to talk about this movie.
I feel like it too.
But also, the movie was all over the map. I mean, like, we were 40... Remember when I made you pause the movie to see how long far in we were? And I was like...
38 minutes?
Yeah, and I still had no clue who these people are.
No.
Why they're together, what this adventure is. Mm-hmm. It just made no sense.
The weird thing was, I actually understood the reason why the bad guys were together and was almost more compelled by their side of the story.
Yeah.
Like, there was the obligatory relationship, like the falling in love between
and it made no
Quartermain and Jesse. And I was just like, no, you didn't earn this.
Not at all. Well, we talk about the portrayal of, like, minorities in this movie is shocking.
Yes.
The portrayal of her, like, of females in this movie is shocking in that, like, the whole movie, there were just moments where she was like, I love you, for no reason whatsoever. Mm-hmm. She actually has this line. She's in a fucking plane. She can't figure out how to get the plane to work, right? I want to go back to the fact that her father is an archaeologist.
Yep.
She is studying to become an archaeologist.
Yes.
And she says, while she's in that plane, my father always wanted a boy. He'd know how to drive this thing.
I don't know if she meant my father would know or the boy that she
would have been. Oh, that's what it, because otherwise that really makes it makes even less sense.
And again, I don't even know what they were commenting on.
Yeah.
I think that was just their idea of, like, oh, women.
A good joke.
Women.
Oh, that's so funny. It's so funny.
In fact, we were talking about the love interest. The love interest was supposed to be one of the African people that he meets.
In the book.
In the
original book. I was reading this. Yeah.
It was not a blonde
white American.
woman.
It was like an African woman, which I think would have been more compelling.
It would have been. I don't think they could have written that in a nuanced way.
No.
I think they had to rip the indie romance
totally
right off.
And I'm sure too, I gotta be honest, like, and I'm just making a guess here, so please understand that it's just a guess, but
absolutely,
I'm assuming if we're reading the book and we're talking about, like, the 1885 book, that it's not a well nuanced romance between an African woman and a white man. It's probably subjugated
a domination
in some way.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
I would think so too, but think about if they did a Quartermain adventure in 2019.
It'd be awesome.
It'd be amazing, actually. I think that it would be even more interesting, don't kill me for this, than an Indy reboot.
Yes. Well, I think it's because we already kind of know and love Indy that everything that's Indiana Jones will be comparing to Temple of Doom.
One of the first three, obviously.
Yeah, Last Crusade. What do you mean first three? There's only three.
That's right.
Or Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
But as far as
Young Indiana Jones,
I will accept
the TV
that.
series.
I will accept that.
Thank you.
Accept that. That is okay.
That is the only other.
But other than that, I don't know of any other Indiana Jones movie or product.
Either. I was asleep in 2008.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yep.
I hate you. Yeah,
That's when we met.
Exactly.
Whee! Yep.
I've hated you since 2008.
I have too.
Oh, I love you.
I know. So cutting that out, clearly we're going to cut that schmaltzy shit.
Yeah, okay. No, we leave it.
But I don't know. There's some really weird shit all through it. I think we should talk about the different African tribes that they meet. There's multiple different things.
So there feels like there's three main tribes, right? There's the cannibal tribe, who are just cannibals.
The town doesn't count really, because it's not a tribe.
Into quarters,
and clearly like multiple different tribes go to the town because the cannibal
was there.
Yes.
So we have the cannibal tribe, which is the first tribe we meet.
Yeah.
Then we have the second tribe, which were a tribe of people who
dangled from trees.
Yeah, they did not like the way the world looked, so they wanted to make it a different place. And in order to change their perspective, they hung upside down from vines.
That is the physical embodiment of turn that frown upside down.
It really is.
It's pretty neat.
And all they wanted to do was help the white people.
Oh my god!
And crown Sharon Stone as the queen of.
Where did they get that shit? From inside the mines,
so.
But how did they do that? There weren't trees inside the mines. And how did they get past the other tribe,
Guardian
the third tribe?
Well, the Guardian tribe was basically just stopping people from taking stuff from the mines.
Right.
Except for that apparently Shiva, who is like the goddess of their tribe,
right,
looks exactly like, are you ready for it?
Yep.
Sharon Stone, a white woman.
Yeah. Oh, the one that was frozen in
like the ice thing.
I thought that was actually diamonds. I thought that was going to be the secret.
Maybe
is that
diamonds.
They were like frozen in a diamond.
That could be
thing,
what it was.
And then
that makes no sense.
No sense at all.
No sense at all.
I'm sorry.
That makes zero sense.
I'm sorry. I don't usually shit on your theories.
No. I'm so sorry. Let me take that back. I'm not shitting on your theory.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No.
At all.
But in the logic of this movie, what's crazy about it, in the logic of this movie, the second you said that, I was like, oh, of course that's what it is.
Probably.
And then I was reacting like, that makes no sense. I'm not saying you don't make sense, because weirdly, that was the least nonsensical thing that I've heard all day long.
Listen, I just wanted some more conflict. I just wanted to stir up like a feud. You know how they have like Twitter feuds and shit like that?
Yeah.
I just wanted to fight you.
We'll be the next Ryan Murphy series.
I love it.
Yeah. This is the weird thing about this movie, and I gotta be honest about it.
Yeah.
You and I watching this on the couch, and I'm a little tired today. I'm a little a little beat. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Late night, and I got up and worked this morning. I had to do my thing.
Sure, of course.
So watching this movie today, I was a little tired and draggy.
Yeah.
And it was tough to get through. Although I have a weird feeling that if I saw this at like a revival movie house with a crowd of people, I would still be appalled by everything.
Right.
But I think in some ways I would have had a lot more fun with it and been willing to accept. I mean, not the racial jokes.
No,
but like some of the cheese cornball jokes.
God. Just the fighting at the beginning when they find the fellow who has that mummy.
Oh God.
The bonking, like
the bonking
she would
on the
miss.
Head. Yeah.
She would reach back and hit Quartermain accidentally when she was trying to hit the other guy. That was another one of those spatial issues.
Oh yeah,
where it didn't make any sense why when he shot the gun it would flip all the way across the room and hit.
He would catch it. It's just.
But again, I agree. There are multiple things in this that feel goofy.
Yeah,
and we could have all laughed along with it and considered it silly. But that jumps to a weird change in tone near the end. Oh. Both moments with
Jonathan
Rhys Davies and Colonel Bachner.
If you don't mind me saying
this,
please. Let's jump to, because I mean, look, I feel like we're swirling a toilet bowl here in some ways, where like
definitely.
And again, like if you have a room of like 20 friends, watch this movie.
Oh, sure.
If it's just like you or you and one other person, it's going to be a slog.
Yeah.
But like I think 20 people or so, like if we're just laughing at the stupid shit happening,
yeah,
I think it would be enjoyable. But what I was going to suggest
I think it has to be an odd number. 21.
21?
Or 19.
Or 19.
But not 20.
Yeah. And, when you're watching this with a group of people, I think just everyone in the room should be
open-minded.
Should be open-minded.
Probably.
To a certain extent. And also just when the weird racist things happen or the weird sexist things happen, just don't oddly stare at the only female in the room like, what do you think about that?
I think there's also, this is a good litmus test for Friends in 2018. I think you watch it with a group and you have video cameras on everybody and you cut ties with everybody who's laughing their asses off.
At the racist stuff.
They're like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Out.
Oh,
you're out of the circle of friends.
Oh, she just called him a towel head. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No.
Actual quote from the movie. I want to be clear that AJ did not just say that. That was an actual quote of the movie.
That was Sharon Stone, wasn't it?
That might have been Quartermain.
I don't know.
Because one of them said that and the other one said the one about
Camel Jockey.
Yeah, that's the other one, which was again like
I don't tend to hear that or ever say that.
No,
so it's an odd thing to be exposed to.
I have to say, when that happened, there was this beautiful moment where AJ and I just looked at each other, and made this face that was like, "What?" Because this is like 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And then we both wrote it down, like in our notes, like this just happened.
Yep.
This just happened.
Yep.
But when you were going to get to the awesome part with Rhys Davies, I was going to say let's just jump to what about this movie can we pull? For when we get to our screenplay, right?
Agreed.
Because I don't think this movie is worthless.
No, I don't think so. There are actually a lot of interesting parts of fight scenes.
Yeah.
Like, there are really bad parts where, like, a guy is just... You see somebody throwing a spear, and then the guy has it, and he's like, oh my God! But there are also good gun works, good pyrotechnics, for most of it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of times where human beings explode.
I was just going to say, speaking of pyrotechnics, like, one of the takeaways from this movie for me personally is, like, if it exists in this world, blow it up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that feels like exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I also think the filming in the cement truck when they were rolling down the hill, it was a cool shot. And it was a really interesting way to make that pot thing happen.
Work. Yeah, no. If it's using what you have or what is available to you.
Yeah.
I think
and
is
like
important.
It's one of those awesome, to me, this is one of those, like, it's awesome because it's a cheap practical effect. And I kind of like that because practical effects, especially practical effects that are well done but cheaply done, somehow to me look way better than the most expensive visual effects.
Yeah, and also I think that there is, if you are settling on this is just the way it's going to be, if people are buying into it in the movie, great. That's totally. Exactly what you need to sell it, and people will take it as read. They'll just be like, that's
go
fine.
for it. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened in this movie, and it's happened in 2 films now. It happened back when we watched 10 to Midnight, and this movie, both directed by J. Lee Thompson. And part of the thought basically is like just starting an action, like fuck it, let the audience catch up. Which I thought worked in 10 to Midnight. We caught up. It was tougher in this movie. And I'm not sure if that's a J. Lee Thompson thing or a canon thing, but I actually like that idea of like, we're going to start.
Just throw us into it.
Start it.
I think there is a way to do it. She could have found him in the middle of a heist that he was doing. Not a heist or whatever he does. Or
what does he do?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't
think I should
Is he a hunter?
I think at the end of this movie, I should know what he does.
Adventurer?
Yeah,
like that seemed all it is.
Yeah.
She could have met him in that town
Yes.
And it would have made more sense.
It would have been fine.
She could have been like, I'm looking for this place, and he could have bumped into her or something like that. And then they both get roped into the House of Isis, and then they are...
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. You have to explain House of Isis. I don't think you can just say House of Isis.
Good point. The place is called House of Isis, where the dad was kidnapped.
The dad was kidnapped, and the house...
Guess.
First of all, Isis
I don't know how she even got that information.
That is a great question. Who knows?
Well,
he wrote a letter. He wrote a letter.
That's
she
right.
Said it,
yes.
She
and
said
he was
quickly,
heading there.
Yeah. Isis, to be clear, is a Greek...
Egyptian.
ISIS is Egyptian?
Isn't it?
I might be thinking of the wrong person.
Yeah. The Orb of Isis is something from The Simpsons, and that's the only way I know things is The Simpsons. But
I'm thinking of the rainbow goddess in Egyptian, and I might also be Isis, but it might not.
Maybe. I don't
take
know.
Your word for it.
But
long
that
story
makes
short,
more sense.
Yeah, and actually, I think that character was supposed to be Egyptian, so you're right. Oh my God,
save.
you've got that on recording. Fuck!
Yay! I'm right. That's going to be my your ringtone.
Yeah,
you're
whatever
right.
I call.
You're right.
You're right. You're right. You're right. God damn it! But and that guy was like an antiquities dealer.
I guess so.
But
yeah.
But definitely like people who robbed tombs and things like that.
Yeah.
Taking those antiquities and selling them to private buyers. I think another thing I took in this movie is just to fucking steal from other better movies indiscriminately.
Oh my God, of course.
Just
clearly that's what you're supposed to do. That's the message.
Well, but I think there's something really fascinating about that, because I thought some of the things about this movie that really worked were when they were actually just kind of like stealing.
Yeah.
And not weirdly borrowing, but like just stealing and making it their own.
Like this is directly...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird...
couple of indie steals. I mean, obviously. Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what I mean, though, is there's this quote. I wish I remembered who the quote was. It might be Twain, but it might not, so don't quote me on that.
I will not.
But the quote goes, good writers borrow, great writers steal.
Interesting.
And
okay.
To me, what that means is a good writer will borrow a scene from something else and then use it in their own work.
Okay.
And then it always feels like it's from something else. But a great writer steals it, takes it, repurposes it, makes it something different, and just creates with it. And oftentimes, that writer will be like, "Oh yeah, I kind of like stole this idea from this movie."
Sure.
Most people are like, "Really? I never realized that, because it doesn't seem anything like it." And I think that's right. It's like you take it and you make it your own.
Steal it and embrace it.
Steal it, embrace it, and then just use it.
And you can quote me on that. Actually.
Yes, we can
steal it and embrace it. Two moments that I want to talk about.
I love these two moments, and these are like, I talk about stealing. I want to steal both of these moments.
Oh my God. For a better movie.
So the first one. Both Jonathan Rhys-Davies and the German guy.
Yes. And they are... Who thought that there was going to be quicksand in this? If there could be nothing else cartoony about this, of course, throw in quicksand. But it goes from the guy who has the Wagner on his back, the portable
phonograph. So
Phonograph.
there's a guy carrying a phonograph. Like, there's a running joke throughout the whole movie where
I hate this Wagner.
Yeah, where the Turkish Jonathan Rhys-Davies is constantly complaining that Colonel Bachner is forcing somebody to walk around with a phonograph on his back playing Wagner. The dun 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 dun. And he's dead, so we could totally use that.
Yeah, exactly. But he is sinking in the quicksand. So are a lot of the other soldiers.
Yeah.
But Bachner and John, what's Rhys-Davies? Dugatti? I never heard that in the entire...
I'm not... Yeah, I don't think so, too.
But anyway, he's still John. He decides, how are we going to get across here? He just starts shooting them.
He picks up a machine gun. Jonathan Rhys-Davies picks up a machine gun,
mows them all down
everybody who's in the pit,
and uses them as stepping stones across the way.
And it was incredible.
It was the most 180-degree spin I've ever seen a scene do.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, holy God, that is the end of that. That's the end of them, and that was so resourceful and so unique. I've never seen that in a movie.
Me either. And it was... Like, if your villain is supposed to be a scary villain who doesn't really care or whatever, to that effect, you use that and you run with it because it was so good.
I never felt that ruthlessness until that moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, where was this the entire time? I would have been scared for their lives. I would have been,
there would have been real stakes attached to it.
Exactly. And then the second one, I love this. When I don't even care about the main characters anymore. They're just fluff.
Well, what's weird about this point is that you actually say that the main characters at this point haven't been seen on screen for probably like 6 minutes.
A while. And
this is in the climax of the movie.
Yeah, and so they're trapped in the mine, the jewel room, the treasure room, and then they get blown out, and then it's reset, and the German
main characters,
right?
Are blown out.
They're trapped, and then they get washed out by the water. But the German goes in and starts stealing the thing, and by this time he's already quote unquote killed Rhys Davies.
We think Rhys Davies is dead.
Yes, and he pops back up.
Yep,
Rhys Davies. And as the German is loading all of his pockets and hat and everything with wonderful jewels and stuff.
Huge diamonds.
He turns around and he's like, Rhys Davies says, he has armor? Bulletproof armor.
It's
anyway,
not really clear.
No. But something Turkish, apparently.
Yeah.
And he says, fill your pockets, fill your hat, now eat them.
Eat the diamonds.
Eat the stones. Eat the stones. Yeah. And that was the most intimidating thing.
Well, he made him eat those stones, and the guy was like, why are you making me eat those stones? And Rhys Davies is like, so when we get back, I'll split you open, and I'll have more stones.
It was so dark. I loved it.
Yeah.
It sent shivers up my spine, and he was so intense about it. Again, he just believes everything that he's a part of.
Yeah.
To 100%. So that was just impressive as hell.
I
want to steal both of those moments.
Yeah, definitely. Oh. It also set up a great gag where the German says something happens when Rhys Davies gets trapped under these like big boulders that fall down from the ceiling, and he looks at Rhys Davies and goes, "Thank you for making me eat the stones. The Germans have the best laxatives." Which it feels like a great movie. Fuck you movie,
because it totally takes the legs out of everything that just happened.
I don't know. I kind of loved it.
It's hilarious because it's that movie. But those two moments didn't belong in that movie. No. Those were amazing moments.
Yeah, again, I feel like if you watch this with a group of people, it's going to be fun.
You'd love that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to understand its time and place, and it's shocking and it's terrible in that sense. But there's also something kind of like when the moments are fun, they're actually really fun.
Yeah, they are.
When I'm not sitting there being like, oh fuck. And look, I got to be honest too. Like, we're two white dudes watching this, right? So it's probably easy for us to look past certain elements of this movie and be like, well, the fun parts are fun, and we probably sound tone deaf.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's such a product of its time.
Yes,
for better or worse, it's really that's what it comes down to. Is I don't think this movie gets made this way today.
Oh no.
And I don't think they were trying to be terrible.
You know what it is? It doesn't feel like it's out to hurt anyone. I think it's mean-spirited. That's what I meant.
It's not, and I think you're weirdly you're correct-ish.
I think they just wanted it to be a fun romp. If you want to email us with your thoughts on this movie,
I would love to have people's thoughts.
Anyone, please,
or tweet at us or whatever.
Yes, exactly. I would like a better view of all of this.
Yeah, because
this isn't what I expected.
No,
but I would be interested to look at it a little bit from a different perspective.
Yeah. It's tough in that way. I gotta say it's tough in that way, and I think you're right. I mean, like, just to hit on that point again, like, it's not mean-spirited, but I would almost argue that it's somehow worse.
Yeah,
so
being tone deaf is
and
media that is consumed by the masses. It can do damage.
A lot of damage.
Absolutely.
So
how about we wrap this up?
Yeah. So next week.
Yes, next week.
I don't know how much better it's going to be.
Okay.
But, I'm excited about this movie. It's called Schizoid, starring Klaus Kinski.
Schizoid?
Schizoid.
Sure.
I think it's pronounced...
No, it's fine.
It's Schizoid. I don't think it's schizoid. I think it's schizoid.
We'll see. Maybe they will say it. Maybe they won't.
You'll figure it out. Starring Klaus Kinski, directed by David Paulson.
Excellent. I'm excited.
Early 80s slasher flick. It's one of the first movies that Golan and Globus produced when they took over canon. So within the first couple of years. And it's our first foray into that genre. So I'm excited to see. We've done a lot of the action. We've done a lot of the adventure. We've done a lot of the brutal police.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Although that's a bit of a horror movie.
10 to Midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, it's a slasher.
You're right. It does have elements of slasher.
Yeah, but
and this is a slasher.
It is balanced.
Yeah.
With the cop drama.
Thing.
Yes. I will say that we're creating this thing that'll be on our website that is going to be a checklist, and I'm super excited to check them off with you of all of the canon films that we will eventually be checking off.
Yep. As we watch them.
And you can print this out and play at home.
Yeah.
We'll
watch. Well, I think we should say we'll watch as many as we can because so many of them are just unavailable.
Yeah.
Especially like the early softcore porn.
Shucks.
Which means that AJ and I are gonna have to sit together and watch some softcore porn from the very early days of canon. Which I think will be great and weird.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna hold your hand like you asked me to.
Well,
but
you know.
I don't know. Maybe if you get desperate.
Yeah, I like holding your hand. It's nice. It's warm.
Stop it.
It's warm.
All right, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Creating Canon. We also have a Facebook group, and oh my goodness, you didn't see what I saw, everybody, and you never want to. You can also email us. Please email us like we asked, creatingcanon@gmail.com. And like Nick said, join us next time, and we will try to entertain you some more.
That's
an attempt.
We've entertained you thus far.
Indeed. Well, that's true. I don't know at all.
Great question.
Yeah. Please write in and tell us if we have or not.
I don't want to open that up, I don't think. But you know what? It's fine.
Entertained? Question mark?
Entertained.
Wink. All right, everybody. We good?
Be good. Thanks for listening.
Good night and good canon. And cut!